primary, sub-care, what have you. That's not what this is about.
Jeez.
This is about controlling all of you. This is about dictating the
This is Bugs. He's our bunny.
This is about putting
Bugs Bunny.
out of work.
He's our buck. He's the male. We're gonna mate bunnies and eat them too. I heard they're great, and it's actually kind of like a white meat. So we'll see. But we have one of him. He's a Flemish giant. So they get pretty big. I've heard reports of up to 30 pounds. Typically, when you raise rabbits for meat, you let them get to about 3 or 4 pounds or so. There's a difference with the smaller ones. They call fryers because you fry that meat, and the larger ones, as they get older, I guess the meat gets tougher, and they call those roasters. So we're going to try just for mainly fryers. You're not bugging him, are you, Bella?
Looking at him, and then he jumped all crazy up.
Alright, my friend, take care.
And we let Bugs stay in the living room. He comes out every once in a while and runs around the living room here. And here are his mates. This is Babs Bunny. Babs is a
female
New Zealand giant, and she has mated with Bugs, so we're hoping that she's pregnant. She'll bite. She will bite your ass. She does not like to be touched. So bite them little fingers off, Babs. Bunnies are kind of weird when they attack. They attack with both hands in their mouth at the same time, and they just kind of pounce at you. I haven't been bitten yet, but she's tried it a couple times. And down here we have Snowflake, who's a Florida White. This breed is a mix of New Zealand's and something else that was designed to be a good lab rabbit for tests and stuff, if you're into that sort of thing. I mean, we all need to know if shampoos can burn our eyes or not, and I'll be damned if I'm going to be the one that does it. And also meat rabbits. Apparently the giant breeds like the New Zealand and the Flemish, like that Bugs is out there, they don't do so well in the summertime. In fact, even the breeders where we got our rabbits said that they lost a few giant breeds last summer, and they kept them outside. So just to be on the safe side, we're keeping them in for now while during the breeding process, and in the cooler months I'll make them some hutches and let them graze in the yard too. These little critters are pheasants. These are ringneck pheasants. They fly. I will never get pheasants again. They're very hard to maintain. They need a lot of space, which they don't have in here right now, but I will build them something as well. Pheasants really need more of an aviary. They need like 25 square feet per bird, so that's a lot of space. I only have a little over a half an acre to work with here, and I'm not trying to set up an aviary. I just want some meat. But these guys are probably an adolescent age. I've noticed this one here that's walking around is getting some reddish tint around his eyes. Hopefully that's a natural thing and not pink eye. They can be aggressive birds. When they don't have enough space, they will go cannibalistic and eat each other. So far I haven't had any of that happening. They're pretty docile right now, but they're a big freaking mess, and again, I'll never do it. Pretty much, you want to stick with domesticated birds. Go with heritage breeds, or at least keep a heritage flock, just in case of any emergencies. Heritage breed birds will breed and go broody on their own. So that means not only, especially in turkeys, in case you didn't know this, most domestic turkeys have to be artificially inseminated. So I don't want to get into all that. It's hard enough sticking my finger in their rear, you know, to find out whether they're males or females. But heritage turkeys can mate, and they will also lay on their eggs and until they hatch. Same with the chickens. You saw the white chickens, the leghorns, and the Rhode Island red chickens that I had. Those are domesticated breeds, and they will not sit on their eggs. They will lay eggs, and they can mate and lay fertile eggs, but they will not sit on them. So you will need an incubator, in which we have one. We haven't used it yet, but I'm anxious to try, so it'll be interesting. And that's the extent of our livestock operation. I'll be excited. I'm making some real progress out in the yard with the coops and the plants. Pretty soon I'll be able to move it all outside, have my house back, and maintain my animals out there at my leisure. The only thing you got to worry about outside are predators, but luckily I live in a big neighborhood, so I'm not completely surrounded by it. I did get a raccoon in the yard the other day, but I took care of his ass, and other than maybe some cats and some dogs to worry about, I'm hoping the 6-foot fence will help. So we'll see. I'll keep you posted as always, and then as soon as I start to harvest some of these delicious animals and plants, I'll also see what I can do to come up with different concoctions and ways of preparing the food that will actually taste good, and sharing that with you as well. So